Hello there, and welcome to Soulmatic Speaks. My name is Samantha, and thank you very much for joining this podcast today. I hope wherever you find yourself, you are comfortable, relaxed, and enjoying yourself. I hope that you're in good health and doing well. Sending you love and appreciation, and I am so excited to get started with this conversation with you today. It's a topic that I hold very near to my heart, and that is ancestral connections and divine guidance. I guess you could put that in whatever terms you'd like: ancestral connections, ancestral guidance, ancestral protection. Um, Basically, however you put it, it is connecting with those that came before you. And divine connections and divine guidance can also be interpreted to those that are with you here on earth and loving you and guiding you and building you to be the person that you are meant to be, to guide you towards your highest self. These connections, whether it be ancestral, those that are watching over us, or connections here on earth that are alongside us on this journey, they are both extremely special and important and worth talking about. And here we are, ready to make it happen. I am so excited to shed light on this conversation, on this topic, and share a little bit about how it has helped me get through some developmental growth throughout my life. I feel as though connecting with ancestors has been a fundamental part of my growth in getting to know myself, in solidifying my identity, and having a strong sense of who I am. And that is not always a easy or smooth process. Finding your own identity and coming to terms with who you are, knowing yourself, it is always easier said than done, you could say, depending on where you came from. Now, the reason I bring that up is because in my experience, I come from a immigrant household as well as a household with adoption. So when you are somewhat disconnected from your roots, it can be a little bit easier said than done to connect with who you are, because you have this disconnect of where you live and where your ancestors have lived. That is a fundamental difference in getting to know your ancestral guidance and connections when you don't have much of a relationship with those that live in your, motherland, in your home, where your family comes from. And that is a huge reason why I think ancestral guidance and tuning into your ancestors and doing your best to get to know them and send them love is so important, because that love will be poured back into you tenfold. Absolutely, it will. You have people that have come before you, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from. You have those that came before you that are watching over you and blessing you and protecting you as you are on your journey. And if you feel connected to them, that makes life so much sweeter, knowing that you have the support of thousands of people who have come before you, thousands of people who are the reason that you are here today. That is monumental. That is just exponential. It is serious, and it is incredible to think about. Taking a moment to really process that and accept that and be excited by it. It's amazing. So that is going to be the topic that we're diving into today: connecting into our ancestors. How to do it, how it impacts us, how it impacts people around us, and also those divine connections that we have here and how those are important. What's purpose they serve, and how you can find them and notice that those are the ones that are for you for life. Now, that could be beyond just people. That could also be animals. That could be nature. That could be anything that you connect with on a very deep level that you know in your heart is meant for you in this life. Something that you just want to hug and love forever. We love those connections. I sure do. um, One of them being my dog. Hello. I think we all have our pets that we consider our soul pets, our soul family, right? That absolutely is my animals. Love them dearly. And they have guided me, that is for sure. They are my angels. If you feel the same way, I love animal lovers. Let's go. And back to our ancestral guidance and connections. That is the real topic, okay? That is the real tea. That is what we're spilling. That is what we're sipping today, is our connections to our ancestors. Now, a very special way that I like to do that is to have somewhat, I don't want to say an altar, but I do have a special place where I have the photos of the people that I love, of very happy memories or little mementos of a happy memory, and keeping them in a special place to remind me of those that I love, what my reasons are to smile in this life. It is those people, it is those moments. And when I have free time and when I have the space to sit and relax and focus, I love to just light a white candle and honor them and, show them gratitude, and creating a safe space to hold that love, hold those memories with clear intentions and a lot of love. That is my space. That is what I like to do to connect with those that I am familiar with and that I love and hold dear to my heart. Something simple as a candle is absolutely enough of an offering, if you ask me. Now, when it comes to connecting with those ancestors that you maybe don't know, or the people that came before you that you just really have no connection with, you've never met them, you've never heard about them. I mean, you don't know any stories about them. You just know that there are people that came before you. And let's say you want to practice honoring them. I absolutely feel you when it comes to that. And when it does come to honoring those people that you know came before you but you don't know, I truly feel the best way to do so is through meditation and through deep breathing and through those spiritual practices, maybe even through prayer. Of course, we always pray to our Lord, but asking the Lord to guide us through the connection of our ancestors, or connecting us to our ancestors in some way, shape, or form. That is up to you, how you decide to reach out to those people that came before you. But in doing so, you build a bond with the people that were here before you, that you are paying homage to their presence and their existence in your life, no matter who they are. And that is extremely, extremely sentimental to each and every person. Getting to know yourself and getting to know those that came before you, it is a very personal and intimate practice. So when I say doing so through meditation, I mean by doing so in stillness and practicing deep breathing, and with that, focusing your intention on honoring those that came before you, giving thanks, and asking questions. Don't be scared to ask questions in your meditations. You never know how those answers might come about. I also absolutely recommend doing research. If you can ask questions to those people that are in your life today, right now, if they have any stories to share, Don't be afraid to ask, to get that information of those that came before you. Maybe you'll learn about a new family member, what they did, what their story was. That is always just a sweet sentimental experience to learn about a family member that you just never knew about until you asked or until somebody offered the story to you. That is an extremely sweet experience. Now, to turn the topic somewhat to my immigrant, like first generation in America, if that's who you are, whatever your experience may be, if you are living in a country that is not your motherland, that is not where your ancestors came from, or maybe it is, but just in a different sense or location, it can sometimes be hard to connect to the culture that you know you come from. Now, that is also something you can reach out to your family for, or maybe reaching out to local communities. That is absolutely a great way to tune into getting to know yourself and getting to know those who came before you by diving into the culture that you know you come from. That is a very fun experience in and of itself. 100%, I can guarantee if you get to know your culture on a deeper and more intimate level, you will feel a very strong sense of pride and a very strong sense of self, because you know this is where you came from and these are your people and you are theirs. And it's a very special thing to feel. Now, if that's not readily available to you through family or through community, if it's harder to reach, I would absolutely consider looking online, looking on videos. We have so much accessible to us today, and it is very much possible to get a taste, at least see through a small window of what that culture looks like. Take full advantage. And the next step after that, I would say, is to travel, to go visit these places where you come from, or a place that holds some history of your story, of your family history. That is a very, very important part of life, I would say. It's somewhat of a pilgrimage. If you are not living in your motherland, go visit. Make that a bucket list item. Make it a priority in life. Go visit and learn and absorb all the culture. That is a very exciting thing. No matter who you are, traveling and learning new cultures is a very important part of life. And if you are doing so with the culture that you know you come from, that is also very sweet and very special and something worth looking into. It's an investment worth making because it will build you. It will build who you are. And you are the best thing that you can invest in. Don't ever forget that. Invest in yourself and make yourself proud. That is tea. Okay? I'm sending you so much love. Please invest in yourself. Care for yourself. And do things that make your heart feel happy. Things that feel like home to you. And with that, maybe visiting your homeland. Now, that is for my people who have been separated from their roots. If you are still connected to your roots very deeply, you are blessed, and do absolutely everything you can to dive deeper into the connections that you have with your ancestors and with the culture that you hold, because that is an absolute blessing to be connected to it so closely and so deeply. Just as it's a blessing to have access to online resources, if you have resources right next to you in your household or just a phone call away, don't be afraid to make that phone call and ask those questions. If you feel the need that you need to build yourself up, if you need a stronger sense of self, if you want to have answers to things that you've been wondering about, do not be afraid to ask those questions. Ask and you shall receive. Closed mouths do not get fed. Ask away, my love. There is no harm that could be done by asking a question. Just do it with genuine intentions and love, my friend. Get those answers that you need. Now, I have another kind of side topic when it comes to connecting with ancestors, and on a more personal note on how my experience has been with it and why it's important to me. A huge reason is because of the familiarity that I have to adoption within the family. Now, one of my parents was adopted. They were adopted by my grandparents, and my mother is from Colombia, and my adopted grandparents are Italian. Now, that is an extremely fun household, okay, to say the least. We have a lot of culture and we have a lot of love. We have just a lot of blends of people in our family, and that makes it so much more exciting. I've gotten to know Italian culture. I've gotten to know so many different things being in that type of blended family. It is the most beautiful thing you can experience because family is family. End of story. But as a person that has disconnected roots from where they come from, that is disconnected completely. You know, we don't have contact with family in that country, in Colombia, and I'm sure there are many people with similar stories. And a huge reason why this topic specifically hits home for me and why it's helped me in my growth is because I have not had that direct contact, direct connection with my culture and with my ethnic background. So I felt I had to really take initiative to build that connection with my ancestors, with the culture, with the community, in order to build a stronger sense of self over time. It did not happen overnight, and it is still a work in progress. I absolutely feel connecting to those that came before you is an integral process, an integral part of becoming your highest and your best self. Because regardless if you know who came before you or not, whether you know what they did, if you know their names, if you know who they are or not, regardless, you know they came before you. You know they were present and they lived a full life. And that is something to be curious about and something to be proud of. Because regardless if you know their story or not, you know they did enough for you to be here today. And that is something to be grateful for, and it is a blessing. And it's very beautiful and special. So absolutely, pay homage to those who came before you in any way that you feel confident and comfortable doing so, because those people are still watching over you. That is something I believe very deeply and very truly. So connect with your roots. If you are in any way, shape, or form feeling disconnected, that is something that I think is worth plugging into in order to come back to yourself, or in order to create yourself in a more dynamic and fluid way, is to get to know where you came from in any way that you can, and be proud of where you came from. Take pride in who you are, take pride in those that came before you, and send love to those that came before you. That is key, very much so. That is key to being a fulfilled person at least in my opinion. Feeling fulfilled because you are aware and grateful that those who came before you put in their work. And now it is your turn, and it is your opportunity to put in that work for those that will come after you. We are still part of the lineage, and we are creating longer lines. And it is beautiful and exciting. I mean, that is just layman's term. That is saying the least. It is more than exciting. It is everything. So, absolutely send love to yourself, send love to your ancestors, provide a safe space to create connections with your roots in whatever way you feel most confident doing so. And again, that is something that has helped me in my growth and spiritual development and mental health. It really helped with my mental health growing into an adult. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love this topic, and I feel like I could go on about it forever. Now, kind of diverting off into our second part of the topic, which is divine connections. More of those connections that you build and create here in this lifetime on earth. They're here with you, loving you currently. Like, we're besties, okay? We love you. We're family. Soul family, right? That's our spirit team. Like, we love you. Those connections are rare and must be cherished at all costs. Now, this reminds me more of a friend, a best friend that you meet, and there was just no way on earth that you could have grown without them. So it is thank you, God, that you met this person. This person is like your sister or your brother or your mother or your auntie, like not literally, but that's how it feels because they have played that role in your life. Those connections are so special and so worth talking about because building those friendships in life is part of the fulfillment that we feel. Building connections and building bonds and communities is so important as humans. It keeps us level-headed and it keeps us in a steady progression forward. Be thankful and mindful of those connections that you have built. Like I mentioned before, whether that be human connections, animal connections, whether that be your connection with nature, those are all divine because they are all living, they are all breathing, and they are all here to support you as we are here to support them. These connections are reciprocal. Just as you feel you would do anything it takes to keep them safe and protected, they absolutely feel the same way towards you. So cherish those people, keep them safe, check on them regularly, as you should. Check on those people that you love. Never neglect them because you know they mean the world to you. So make sure they're well. And above all, make sure you are well. Because if you mean the world to them, they care just as much that you are doing well as they are doing well. You both need each other. We need each other. Our love is undying, whether things are hard or not. But doing your work on your end will make their life easier too. So keep those connections close. And in doing so, you never know. You might be able to build a stronger connection to your ancestors by building a strong sense of connection with the people that are maybe not your blood relatives. Now, it sounds a little odd, but in building those connections with those people that are so special to you, that can help you build that strong sense of self. That can help you get to know who you are and help build character in a way that you maybe didn't know before. And that can lead you into the right direction of finding that fulfillment, finding that sense of self, and leaning towards the direction of highest self, of connection to spirit and connection to ancestors. Now, show love to all those around you, but make sure you are holding those divine connections extremely close. And if you maybe feel like you don't have too many of those connections in life, be open. Be open to building connections. Put yourself out there to be received. You never know what might come your way. Putting yourself out there is absolutely an important part of building connections. It doesn't happen on accident. Maybe it might feel that way, but when you are in alignment with the same person, you have to be, walking a path. Sitting still and stagnant is not likely to attract and manifest a divine partner, because stagnancy is not attractive. It's not vibrational. It's not high vibrational. It is still. And stillness can attract. But absolutely putting yourself out there, I would say, is going to be the best and fastest and most sure way to attract your community and those divine connections. By standing in your authenticity, by being who you are truly, and opening yourself up. Do not be afraid to build those connections. You never know who you might meet, and you never know who might be there for you for a lifetime. Again, those are not very common occurrences. Those kinds of friends are rare. So open yourself up to building those connections. And once you find them, and if you have them currently, cherish them and hold them close and send them some extra love today. Just a little reminder. Send your family some love and send your friends some love. Because although building a relationship with your ancestors is so important and vital to understanding who you are, it is also extremely important to send flowers to the ones that are with us today. Don't wait until the afterlife. Don't wait until they're gone. Don't wait till it's too late. Do it now. Send the flowers, send the love to those that you care about and appreciate today. Those tokens mean the world. Thank you so much for listening and tuning into this little rant, you could say. Like I mentioned, am extremely passionate about the connections to our ancestors, what it means to us, and how it affects us on a personal level. My experience with this has been extremely beneficial, and because of that, I feel more confident as a person today, and I feel I am ready to share my experience with it. So thank you so much for listening. And if you've gotten this far, again, don't forget to do your best to build a connection with those that came before you and send those flowers to those that are here with you now. Sending you love and sending you hugs. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Until next time. Bye.